One of the ways that we are going to adjust our national economy here in the United States is creating specific instructions and specific regulations for when situations happen like the banking crisis or the pandemic. So, as an example, using the banking crisis, the government should never bail out banks. What I saw in one banking crisis within the last few years is that other banking companies stepped in to buy the company that was having trouble, and making sure that the people who were registered with the bank, had accounts with the bank, that their money was secure. They bought out that bank or something close to that. Things like that are how our economy should function. The government should never bail out those companies. And it's similar to our corporations and our businesses. Our big businesses, our government should never give businesses the money. They should always give the consumer the money, because the consumers are the ones who support the businesses. We are the ones who buy the products and keep those businesses in business. Everything that we do for the poor, anything that we do for the civilians, it's going to trickle up the line to every income bracket. It's important to know this and to remember this. And we've actually seen this happen where, or have we seen this happen? I actually can't think of it. I'm sorry. Let me think about that. I was actually thinking about how I was planning this. So, correct myself there. All right. So, with that, smaller businesses, those can receive funds. Smaller businesses, because those smaller businesses do not make nearly as much money as the larger corporations do, and they also support the larger corporations, especially because they have food product that comes in. They have repairs that need to be done. So things like that should never go directly to the businesses, except for small businesses and the civilian population, the consumers. This is how we support our economy. It's part of the supply and demand. We make sure that we have the people to be able to buy the product, and that buying the product trickles up the line. So that's one of the ways, one of the regulations we need to pass through legislation. We also need to make sure that our companies are not allowed to price engorge. I spoke a little bit about this regarding Kroger. They had admitted to price engorging, especially during the pandemic, milk and egg prices. And at their stores, milk and egg prices are still really high. I do understand that there is an outbreak of the bird flu, and it's killed millions of our chickens. So I do understand why prices are high currently, but allowing businesses to get away with price engorgement is unacceptable, because that puts a serious strain on the consumers. Then we suddenly cannot get what we need to live regularly, live daily. All of a sudden, we can't afford it. And so we have to sacrifice one thing or another to be able to afford our basic needs. And that just puts us right back into the poverty line. So businesses, big businesses especially, corporations, all that, should not price engorge. It ends up becoming, at the bottom line, unconstitutional. So, with that in mind, making sure that regulations are enforced at current current regulations, and also improving the regulations we have and enforcing those, making sure they are enforced, is going to be one of the keys here. We do have regulations in place. Making sure that our government enforces those regulations is going to be very important, not only for the businesses themselves, but for the consumer. Businesses will not go under if they don't price and gorge. The consumers of the United States will not allow it to happen. Another thing that related that we need to make sure comes down are rentals and mortgage prices. Being able to afford housing is very essential. And when we can afford housing, we can afford to buy our basic needs for the most part and be able to support ourselves on a regular daily basis. We won't have so much stress, won't have so many financial issues, won't have any of these events come up where we don't have money left over because we've given it to businesses who've gone or who are going bankrupt or who are in trouble. So thinking about that is something that I think we all should do. So I believe that today that's all I have for us. Thank you for your time, and may our path lead to peace and prosperity.
Fellow Americans, Susanna for President 2024. Welcome to the 2024 edition of Franklin Delano Residence Fireside Chats. We have several topics to talk about today. So there's been another incident with police abusing their position and attacking civilians. This time, Tyrone McAlpin is the victim, a deaf man. The video that was released to